Science. Paranormal. Drinks. Three tortured souls. Entertain, educate, recreate, and intoxicate.
Well, welcome to the show. Looks like we have grown this evening. We have some great guests, some brave volunteers. I would like to say one of our volunteers is taking care of some very important business, so they won't be here. But I just would want to welcome everybody to the show and start out with maybe some introductions from the people joining us. And we'll get started there. So I would like to start with, I'll just go this way for me. So I'll start directly under me with Taryn. So if you'd introduce yourself, talk a little bit about what you do.
Taryn. I am host of Paranormal Brew. I'm a member of Paranormal Peaches. And also, for anybody that doesn't know, because they haven't changed it yet, it's 4 tortured souls. I'm the 4th tortured soul.
Every damn time.
Number 4.
Number 4, which is why I said in the chat, my 4th sense.
All right, Dr. Jim.
My thing says it all. I'm just some guy.
Just some guy.
Yeah. I make no claims to fame.
None. I think so, sir. And Daniel?
I'm Daniel Reed, and I'm in the West Virginia Skeptic Society, and just happy to be here. It's
and so the people next to me, of course, Kenny and Dave.
Hey.
Feels like a long time since we've just had a show, doesn't it?
It does.
Oh my gosh, I miss you guys.
I actually got my wife was like, "Didn't you just do a show?" I'm like, yeah, but we were late. Like
We
2
were
weeks.
late. Yeah.
So we're
And
actually
the
on
best
schedule.
part is this was my week, so it still counts. So I didn't have to do shit this week. This is fantastic.
So you get like 3 months off, or at least 3 months.
Perfect.
Nice.
Well, so I'll just get right to it and just kind of say I'm a little excited. Plus, I want to hurry up. It's, I know Taryn has to take care of her podcast, which is a great podcast, her show. So we can get started so she can get to hear what object was what. But quick rundown, probably about a year ago, in our shows and in our discussions on Facebook threads, which can get quite comical and heated sometimes. We usually talk about ways to test things. How are we going to test claims? That's what we talk about a lot. And something came up about how would we test a haunted object. So we kind of came up with this idea of, looking at something that might have quantitative, because I remembered that word, quantitative claims to it. So in other words, something that would be knocking, sights, moving objects, I guess, something that wouldn't necessarily be qualitative. So it's not like you would receive an object and you would feel like something bad is happening, or that you would feel like that you have a possession or something evil in your house. Like we were searching for something, or I asked for something that would have something that when it happened, it would be unusual, and something that could stick out. And we found something. Kenny did find something for us and turned over that and 3 other things that had no claim to it whatsoever. We looked out and found 4 people that were ready to take the challenge with us and see if they could take these objects into their home and just do some notes, just do some basic note taking. When you got it, what's happened, if anything's happened. I wasn't necessarily looking for anything, extreme in the notes, just anything that you feel or that you think was outside of the norm of what your daily routine life was at the house. And we got, John's not here again, but we were happy that he too also did it. So before we get into it, what I would like from you guys while you're still here, particularly Taryn, I know you got to go, is some feedback about your experience as well. So that's as important to me. So that if somebody else is hearing this and would like to try to do this on their own, could take some hints about things that I didn't do well or I could have done better. And I'm completely open to that too. I along the way kind of figured out some things I could have done better myself, but I am open to that as well. So would you guys like to just start out by learning which one was the haunted object first?
I'd like to see who thought which one was haunted, which
Okay.
one was the object, who what they thought it was. That's been my whole. I've been giddy over this. I even tried to get Kenny to tell me, and he wouldn't tell me.
He tried so hard.
When,
It was over. After it was over.
when we did the EVP challenge at that place, Kenny sent me a double sealed envelope with the answer to it and threatened me with bodily harm that when it came time to open that would be sealed. And so I put it somewhere where I would absolutely not ever find it again, which would mean I put it up in where I placed I thought it would belong. So I never found it again until I needed to. All right. So who wants to go first? Like, what do you think, Taryn? Let's start. Which one do you think was it?
Honestly, I don't have a belief in haunted objects. So I am more of a superstitious person. And I don't, so for me, it's not it being haunted, right? But I'm superstitious. So I would say the only thing that got me to that, so being a paranormal investigator, though, so I do believe in the unknown, the paranormal, and all that stuff. But so I had to prepare myself to not let that psyche, you know what I mean? That, okay, something might be haunted, and I didn't want it to, so I prepared myself for that part of it, to separate it. But the only one that, and I said it to myself, I was like, I know I'm doing this because I'm superstitious, but I'm putting it away, there was a rocking horse.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the rocking horse out, and there was like 2 weeks of like just bad shit happening. Oh, can I say shit, Kenny?
Yeah,
I think we're fine.
There was just bad stuff happening, and I'm like,
Cutting it.
if one more thing happens, I'm putting that rocking horse back in the box and in the closet. And something happened, so I did that. So that was the only thing. But again, it wasn't paranormal or haunted to me. Like for me, it was more my brain. Like it was like more like a psych thing. So after I knew it was away, like things just kind of like got a little bit better, So I don't know where that fell into it. There was one other item, and I don't remember which one it was. The only thing odd that ever stuck out was I wrote it in the notes was my back door. One night, it's a lock. I think I sent Tim the pictures of the lock because the only way to actually lock it is from the inside, and it's like this button where you got to like push it down. It's not one of those ones you have to and it's hard to push down. And we were sitting outside, and we got locked out of our house, and because we had our front door locked upstairs, our back door locked upstairs, and because we were out back underneath, I have like 3 ways to get in. So if we were like downstairs, like, we didn't want anybody being able to come up there. So anyway, I tried to go in, and the door's locked. We literally had to break into our house, to get and to unlock the door. That's the only time it's ever happened. It never happened before that. It never happened after that. So I don't think it's paranormal. It was just something odd that stuck out that's never happened. Now, I will say that all about the rocking horse. I opened it up. I looked at it. I did my notes, but I put it in the box and in the closet because I'm like, okay, if this is haunted, it doesn't matter where it's at. It's in my house. It should be able to do whatever it's got to do, no matter where it's at. So the only thing I actually took out and placed out, like as if it was like one of my decor, was that rocking horse. So again, I think it just played into my psyche with that.
One for the rocking horse, yeah?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, in some sort of way. I don't think it was,
Okay. Ooh, hold on. Dr. Jim, what do you think?
Present. I think they were all dead. I named each one of them. I kept them right up here where I could see them. I faced them against the TV when Kenny was on Friday nights. All 3 of the 4 I took on a road trip to Colorado. I tried to do all the things that could get out of its comfort zone if it had such a thing. I even had I've got a little clay, well, it's a fired clay ghost that one of my students gave me that supposedly has haunted dirt in it. Not from that like CJ's Farm guy. If you haven't heard of that, he's selling haunted dirt for $80 a bottle.
Okay.
Is that the guy you met, Daniel?
I don't know. It may have been because that's on the same order of what that guy was doing.
That's my mud doll.
Oh, that's kind of cool. No, this guy had it in a little jar, and it was dirt from Ed Warren's grave that he was selling. So, of course, he had a lot of things that he had wood from the Conjuring House, and
okay.
But
can I just say one thing? I just want everybody to know, and Tim knows, but the last object, I don't know what it was. I never opened it because the day it was delivered, my mom died that day.
Yeah.
So and my mom was at my house. So like I think somebody picked it up off my porch just to get it in this house, and they put it. I never opened it. I can't. The last one I got, I have no idea. I just wanted to throw that out there too.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, that was the test was not important.
Almost done. That was
it's not important. It's not that
right. I know it was the last thing, but I was like, it kind of felt like I messed it up a little bit.
Nope.
But
well, this isn't.
Right.
This is a lot. This is fun. This is just like a first shot effort at seeing, can we test if something if something's haunted or has a haunted claim to it. Is there just a way to test it? And that was it. That's all. It's not. The importance is nothing compared to family and
right.
And yeah. So,
Do you have all the objects now, Tim?
I think so. I think I have all 4.
Okay. Because they were like Kat was asking, what were the objects? You should probably tell them, give them just an idea of what all of them were.
One was a rocking horse. One was a marble statue that was probably about 6 inches, 7 inches high.
That's the one.
Another one
that looked like Ming the Merciless.
Yes, you called it Ming. I actually changed it in my files to Ming. We had one that was a scarecrow, and let me look and see what the other one was. Oh, a creepy doll. A creepy doll. I remember Taryn telling me immediately that she did not like that doll. Yeah.
No, but just because I don't like dolls.
Yeah.
I had to put one in. As soon as
I
I knew
know,
Taryn,
like,
I knew, yeah.
And I messaged him. I was like, for fuck's sakes, really? The first one?
I will never, ever let an opportunity like that go by.
Why I call him the Biddler.
If I can send you a doll, shit.
Something I'd like to add about the procedure. In the box that we received from Tim was a small spiral-bound notebook, maybe 3/8 of an inch thick. He said, take your notes in here, and when you're done, send it back, or whatever you want to do with your notes. Well, I made notes someplace else and lost the little green spiral bound, but the next item I got, whoever'd been in there, whoever'd had it before me, there was like 8 pages left. And I'm like, holy shit, what am I supposed to be doing here?
No.
Nothing was happening.
Yeah.
So somebody would fill out the notebook, and then put it back in and send it to the next person.
They take the pages out.
They took the pages out. Okay, got it.
I had no clue where it had come from and who it was going to next.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe not supply. Let somebody have their own notes, maybe what they're comfortable with. Yeah.
Well, it was good to have them, to have it in one place. It just didn't suit me personally.
Okay.
It's like Taryn with with dolls and stuff. It's just
All right.
not something I do real well.
All right. Daniel, what do you think?
Well, you know me. I didn't think any of them were haunted. But if there was one that I felt should be a haunted item, if it were going to be haunted, it was this little statue that to me it reminded me of a chess piece.
Mhm.
That's Ming. So that's the one that I really liked because I felt like it was older. It had an older feel to it than the others. The others seemed more contemporary. So I thought if any of them has a history, this one seems like it should have a history, and that's the one that I thought would seem to have a story attached to it. But so that's the one. That's my money is for that one.
I
Well-
named that Xanadu just because I had to have a name for it, and it seemed exotic and out there.
Well, then at the little I don't know what
I think I can show. I have a picture. If it's okay, if I can show it.
I ended
Is that all them, right?
That's
Yeah,
all of
so-
them.
that one on the left inspired me to make this. So I was like, hey, I want a little weirdly looking doll sort of thing. So
All right. So I wanted to make sure, like, I didn't know what the object was either. I thought I might know, but I'm not sure. So I didn't want to know just to keep me out of it as well. So as far as I know, Kenny's the only person with the answer. So drum roll for Kenny.
So the allegedly haunted object was
We had a drum roll.
the rocking horse.
Shut up.
dang.
He's the rocking horse. The other objects, the Ming statue, I've had that for like 20 years. Picked it up at a yard sale, liked it, and it's been on my shelf ever since. So it just sat there, and I was like, like this looks old. It is old, but it's chipped. It's beat up. I'll put it in there. The Raggedy Ann mean-looking doll. And again, I'll put it up there so you can see it. That I got from a friend who made it, and it was just arts and crafts. It wasn't anything, no story with it at all. The weird scarecrow thing, whatever that is, that was a flea market. I picked it up literally like the week before because I was like, oh, this looks crazy. And it's actually a novelty item. It had an actual tag on it from a store, and it was made for that. So it wasn't even like an old thing that's like handmade. It was just a mass-produced kind of thing. And I ripped the tag off, and I smacked it on the table a few times to make it look even more beat up. And then I put it in the thing. But the rocking horse, I got that from a gentleman about like 4 years ago. And Tim, I think you and I talked about it.
I thought so.
Yeah,
That's why I couldn't. I thought it might be, but I didn't want to confirm it because I didn't want to say like, "Ooh, Taryn, you're getting the rocking horse now." Ooh.
So, yeah,
I didn't want to like influence anybody. I just wanted to like.
It was a guy that was part of a ghost hunting team, and he reached out to me and said that a lady that he was at a private residence, and the owner, she was freaked out by this thing. She had brought it home. She picked it up like at a estate sale. She brought it home, and since she brought it home, it gave her feelings of fear. It constantly drew her attention where she had to look at it because she had this sense that it was in the room, and then she also heard voices around it.
I didn't remember
And it
that.
freaked her out so much that she asked this ghost hunter guy to take it, and he's like, I don't want it. And I also think that's actual horse hair that's on it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Don't quote me on that, but I think it actually is. And so yeah, he sent it to me, and I've had it. It never did anything. I mean, I used to have it before I moved up here, it was literally on the other side of my monitor, because there was like shelf space there, so it was just on the top, and I could see it every day I sat down. But nothing ever happened, and I was like, well, this is perfect. This has a story to it, and I'll just include it. So there you go.
Yeah.
And disclaimer, I'm not saying that was I think it was more me, my brain. You know what I mean? Like that was the only thing I took out and put out. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I'm going to put it as one of my decor and just live life normal. Like I didn't want to think about it, But
so it was voices that people would hear.
Well, yeah, the owner would hear voices, but she associated it with the horse. I didn't speak to her personally, so I'm getting everything secondhand. So,
Right.
As I understand it, that she would hear some kind of like voices, people talking, maybe calling out her name, and she always looked directly at this horse. But again, it might be kind of like along the same lines as what Taryn is saying. I think once that initial impression was made, she started blaming everything on this object, regardless of whether there was any supporting data or not. It was just like, I hear something, it's the horse. Something bad happened, it's the horse, because she didn't like it, and finally got it out of the house. And I think that's just, I get what you're saying, Taryn. And I think it's just because it's a more of a behavioral or psychological issue where you have it in your head like, oh, this doesn't look weird. And knowing that you have it.
Right.
So now every bad thing that happens, you're going to think back, oh, is it because of that item?
Yeah. And that's the thing what I'm saying. Like, I was like, if one more thing happens bad, because it was when I took it out and I put it out, and it was like literally boom, 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 start happening. I'm like, if one more thing, and it was all my animals too. So I was like, I had to take 2 of them to the emergency vet, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, I know this is just my head because I'm superstitious, but if one more thing happens, I'm putting that horse back in the box and in the closet, Okay. And it's like one more thing. And I was like, that's it. I walk back there and put it in the closet. But the thing is if it, and then after I put it away, everything started to get a little bit better. You know what I mean? So honestly, but it was still in my house.
Right.
So if it was something, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I know it was my head because it's still, I just put it in the closet. That's it.
Well, I mean, we all know the power of cardboard. I mean, obviously it blocks evil spirits and their abilities to do it.
Single pane glass stops evil dolls.
So if it was anything that was going to continue, it would have continued.
Mm-hmm.
Cardboard, single pane glass, wood.
Circles
These are all
of salt.
block superpowers. Yeah, a little salt.
Guys, I have to get out.
That's okay.
But I love you.
Whatever,
guys.
quitter.
No, I'm not quitter. I'm only on. I don't know how long you guys will be on, but I don't know if you'll still be on when I'm done, but I can jump back in if you're still on. But it was great. Love you guys so much.
It was good seeing. I'm glad you were able to come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. You actually made the experiment interesting.
Why? I won't say it behind my back. Say it now. Hurry up.
Yeah. Like, no. Wait till that bitch gets out of here. No, I mean, what? She's still here?
Love you guys.
Hey, are you going to be at, are you going to the Bigfoot thing next month? All right, I'll see you there.
Yeah, yep. We're going to be there. I cannot wait.
Good. All right.
You guys have a good night. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it, and I want to be a part of the next one.
Okay. All right. We'll come up with something else.
I loved it. Good night, guys.
Right, take care.
How do I get out of here?
Tim, Vic, or her? Thank you.
I just did.
Boom!
He's out.
Okay. So I kind of did want to just kind of rush through that for her, obviously, so that she could get a sense of it. I really liked her face when you said the rocking horse, because she was just like, shut up. Like, yeah.
That was
so, yeah. Brief summary again for anybody that's listening or will listen. We got 4 objects, one that had a specific claim to it that we think that could be picked back up as something not known or not used to in the house, and the other 4 have nothing. So what we did was we mailed 4 objects to 4 different people at the same time. and they kept it for 1 month. They notated anything different or anything that they felt was strange. At the end of the month, they put it in a box. They mailed it back to me. I took the notes, noted the notes, swapped the order of it, and sent them back out. So, relative to them, which is interesting, maybe somebody could do something different. They had the knowledge that at some point they were going to get something with an alleged haunting to it. So if you could get enough people to participate and let people know at some point you might never get anything, it might have a different effect on the notations that come out. So that's something else that I kind of thought about along the way. But there's different powers. I think there's different strengths in that as well. But yeah, that's what we did. That's how we kind of figured it out. And Dave helped out. He gave us the belief scale. Hold on, I have it up here. Which, as Dave always does, just absolutely keeps me in check. And I'm all ready just to I've got my wings on. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to jump out of the nest. And Dave's like, "You're going to die. You're going to crash and die. You need to get data on this. You dumb son of a bitch." I'm like, "You're right, Dave. God damn it." So, because I thought I was like, "This is going to be fun." He's like, "Yeah, but you need to count it." And I'm like, "Yes, I do." Here we go. The revised paranormal the revised paranormal belief scale.
Drink more coffee.
Yeah, I'm getting excited just talking about it. But
is that like the sheep and goat thing?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Dave has a good scale here. If you want me to bring it up.
Yeah, you can just bring that up.
Yeah, he helped me. He did the statistics for it. And I think it's really good. I think it's really important for other people that want to do this or look at collecting data when it comes to subjective reporting, to have this type of scale in place, because it helps kind of buffer out the numbers in the reports that you get.
All right. A lot of color on this. So basically, this is a tool that's been used quite extensively in a variety of different studies to take a look at, quantify and qualify paranormal belief. So this is pretty widely used. Now, it's not without problems. There's a lot of criticisms of it. There's a lot of support of it. Depends on what paper you read, what you look at, how many factors people think there are or there aren't in it. And a lot of it has to do with the way they analyze it and develop it. But what was settled on was there's 7 factors to this. So you answer 26 questions, and then you go through and score it. And then it will break. You can grade it into factors to break it out. So the factors, 7 of them in the original publications and scale: traditional paranormal beliefs, psi, witchcraft, superstition, spiritualism, extraordinary life forms, and precognition. So it might be a little hard to see there, but that's what the left side of the screen is showing, is all the different subscales or factors. And then at the top is just a total, what the total scale or the total score is that people got. So you basically add them up, divide by the number of items, and that gives you the number. So nothing too complicated there. So on that part of it, you can see for actually all of the beliefs except one, Taryn had the highest level of belief. And hers would have been in the light blue. Next was John in the green, and then Dr. Jim in the orange, and Daniel in the darker blue. So overall, really, John was the lowest across the board, more or less. And Daniel was low in one part of it, high in another, and I'll explain the 2-factor part of it. And then Dr. Jim, you were low on one and high on the other. But you can see where each one of you scored higher relative to the other people. So are any of these like way out there really high? Not really. Taryn's, some of them, I think hers even are not super high, but it just shows relative to the other people. So the reason you want to run these type of things is belief, as we've talked about many times, can play a role and can lead to experiences. So it's always good to have a baseline, especially if we're looking at something where you're trying to record subjective experiences, to kind of see where people's baseline beliefs are. So one of the problems with this 7-factor scale is people have debated, is it 3, is it 5, is it 7? The other part is some of these items function differentially. So they have differential item functioning based on your age and your gender. So even if you had a bunch of people with the same set of beliefs, the age and the gender responses can vary. So what they did is they did a fancy mathematical way of purifying this and rescaling it. And then they ended up finding that it's actually 2 factors better fitted. One is traditional paranormal beliefs, and those are things like the devil, hell, witchcraft. And then there's New Age philosophy, and those involve things such as reincarnation, altered states of consciousness, astrology, precognition, paranormal abilities. So you just basically take the 26 items. There's certain ones they found that go into each cluster or group, and then you score those. So that's what I did. New Age philosophy, looking back, there's a lot of literature on this. I'm not going to go through a whole bunch of it, but New Age philosophy is leaning towards those items that they've found and seen before that tend to allow people to exert control over external events at a personal level. And traditional paranormal beliefs, those help people exert control over external events, but they're more reinforced and influenced by culture. So if you look at those different factors, actually, Taryn was quite high on both of them. So both a combination of traditional paranormal belief and New Age philosophy. John really had none at all. Dr. Jim, you were obviously much higher, as you can see here, on the New Age philosophy versus traditional paranormal beliefs. And Daniel, you really scored a whole lot of nothing on the traditional paranormal beliefs. But interestingly enough, you had a score of 9 on the New Age philosophy.
Which I find that interesting, because now I'm curious as to what I was going to go back and look to see what questions I would have answered yes to.
Yep,
that would have
give those to you.
Okay.
I'll send them to you, but you can take a look at the questionnaire, and I have the question numbers that correlate to each one of those.
Okay.
So yeah, so interesting. What I was hoping to do is, if people had enough experiences or reported enough things, you can try to correlate the levels of belief to the number of things they reported or the type of things reported, but that really didn't happen. We didn't have much of anything reported. So this was more or less just interesting to see where everybody's beliefs land.
It's interesting.
I like that. I think that's good for the subjective score of it. I guess you could. Are you saying like you could like make a prediction of maybe what you would expect to get one or more from this person versus another person just by that?
I'm not sure you could predict the number, but well, maybe usually people who have more beliefs, higher level beliefs, they're going to report experiences versus those that do not. And depending on the situation, they might report more experiences. Now, remember though, this is not, there's some problems with this. One, for some of the religious parts of it, the questions, it's mainly based on Judeo-Christian background and beliefs. So there's some problems there. You obviously need to tweak that to probably cover more religions. Extraordinary life forms, there's an argument to be made that when you talk like life on other planets, aliens, a lot of people these days would probably say, yeah, it's probably possible there's life on other planets, but it doesn't get at the whole, are UFOs visiting here?
See, that I think that may be one of the ones that I answered yes, and I'm trying to understand why I have that little weirdness in my life. So maybe that I answered yes to, and because there's there's so few questions or so that they're keyed to those particular ones that skewed me in that direction. Yeah, because now I'm all like freaking out. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have New Age beliefs, New Age philosophy. So,
well, I would have answered that as well. I would have answered under that type of question, is a possibility that there's life on other places. I would have said yes. But because for me, I'm not necessarily thinking like there's an advanced technology, advanced evolved life form. Like I go to like microbes or bacteria or like.
Yeah, I mean, for Daniel on that, I mean, you for the New Age beliefs. Let's see how many there's New Age philosophy. There's 11 items, and out of those 11, you answered something on 2 of them. And I'd have to go back and look which ones they were. I didn't write questions out here, but when you totaled those 2 up, you had a 6 rating on one and a 3 on the other. So that's where your 9 came from. So it's really only 2 to 2 questions.
Gotcha. That makes me feel better.
Psychological test just happened. We're just watching it.
Yeah.
I kind of think maybe we should. We got another waiver for you to sign before we talk about what medication.
Because let's see, he responded to, and I can tell you which ones they were. So 19 and 23. 19 was reincarnation does occur. So
I marked yes to that.
Yeah, you put a 3 on that one. And then 23 was mind reading is not possible. You actually reverse score that one.
So mind reading is not possible.
Right.
I don't believe it is, and I don't believe in reincarnation. So did I just screw up those 2 questions or something? Maybe
that's possible.
Okay.
That's possible.
Because that's like
I think we did tell you not to drink while filling out these surveys.
It's happened. I've actually seen that quite a bit where people will sometimes read them too quickly. And then they, with the Likert scaling, they'll pick the wrong answer.
Right.
Yeah, because I definitely don't believe in reincarnation, and I definitely, whatever that other thing was that you said, mind reading, I don't believe in that.
So you don't believe in shit, is what you're saying?
Exactly. Well, now I do believe in shit.
Yeah, I honestly don't know why you would. You'd have to go back and look at it. I mean, if you don't believe in those, you probably would have marked them appropriately and have been a lot lower.
Right. Okay.
Maybe you just misread it.
There's some questions about where you can take it. Actually, you can just Google it, and I don't know.
Online.
Yeah, it's available online. It's
otherwise you can always. I can send me a message. I can email it to you. Then I can score it real quick.
There you go.
Literally takes.
Yeah, if you want to take a test, email Dave.
Yeah, I'll give you a test.
Crystals and healing power. Thank you, Pat. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's see. For Daniel, we got -2 points for following directions. Another -2 for, or -4 for, reading the question. But no, that's okay. It happens.
-10 points from Gryffindor.
It would be interesting to get this group back together. Maybe not in this forum, but after we see the results and look at them and think about them, it might be interesting to get back together and chat about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daniel doesn't have to come because we know that he's kind of an outlier.
Thank you, Dr. Jim. Thank you.
Yeah. Overall, just back to for me anyway, what feedback would you have about the flow of the test, or how you were able to get the material for the test? Was any of the waiver, did it sound appropriate? Did it flow? Was it okay? Did you have any questions or concerns, or anything that somebody might be listening to it now might want to do this, and could benefit from hearing it, some critical feedback for it?
Maybe some structure as far as feedback to you.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, instead of a blank piece of paper, a form of some kind.
Okay, that's good.
I don't know what would be on it, but at least again, Daniel's the outlier, but at least we could kind of compare person to person to person.
I think that'd be
not
good.
here either, but he is an outlier.
Have a form set up where it is, if they're supposed to keep it for a month, right? Was that it?
Mhm.
All right. So have maybe like 5 sheets of paper where the front piece is just a form, well, mostly a form where it's like their name, the dates that they're going to have it, the item, and then where it's going to be stored. Like, where are you going to put this? Where was it kept for this entire month? You know, was it in the living room or in the kitchen? Was it in the box in a closet for the entire time? Something like that. And then the rest are just lined paper so that they can keep notes with a date on the top and then a line on the bottom of each page where when they're done with that page, they sign it. Sign and date it. That's it. Like, no more notes on that page. And that way it goes back in the box with the object when it comes back to you, and that you collect it and it doesn't go to the next person. You don't have to worry about somebody writing too many notes and leaving Dr. Jim with only like 2 pages out of a 50-page notebook or something like that.
He was probably like, holy shit, something is extremely haunted and it's coming my way.
Yeah, that was
like, you said that,
Just
and I was like,
instant, man.
That's a clue. That's a contextual clue, because now it's like, oh, well, the book that came in the boxes, this one, most of the pages are gone. So obviously somebody wrote a lot.
It was probably me because I like to write a lot.
Oh my God, he does. Every time he fills out,
I wasn't going to call him out, but I knew exactly who it was. I got back
He
a
basically
book.
writes as much as Kenny talks.
As a matter of fact, I told you guys, I was like, if there's anybody like we can partner with documentation, Daniel's it. Daniel's like, got object today, wearing shorts, white socks.
I woke up. I yawned twice.
On channel 13. I was like,
I rolled over to the right, and then I got out of bed. I put my left shoe on first today. It was a little different.
Okay, so the humidity and the temperature, my little
did,
thermometer,
yes.
were right there, and I thought, okay, that would be good data to have, maybe. And so I threw that in there too.
You know, like maybe also include in that form a space for any factors of stress. So if someone's going through, like, I don't mean not to bring it up as this is actually a good example for this, but when Taryn told us that her mother had passed away the day that she received the one box, like, that's a high stress, that's a high emotional event in someone's life. So that might be something that's important to note, that we know that in the notes, because now it's like, all right, something tragic happened. We need to realize that if somebody lost their job, or if there was another injury or something happened in the family where we can expect them to be stressed out, or overstressed, where they're going to make mistakes. You know,
Sure.
in projects that
There's
are doing.
stress surveys, isn't there? Simple ones. Like, if you had a death in the family, if you had a divorce,
Right.
something like that. That's kind of a simple way of saying, are you under some kind of stress?
Yeah.
If she'd opened the rocking horse, which she had a problem with the day that her mom died, God knows what might have resulted from that.
Right.
yeah.
It was already a problem.
Right, and that goes outside of this. I mean, it's part of the experiment. It's obviously it's part of it, but that goes beyond what we're originally testing for. But I mean, it is part of it too. So it would be interesting to know that, and important to know that, because now we can look back at the data and say, well, this person was on their stress. They just had a car accident right before, and now they're dealing with insurance or dealing with trying to find transportation, new car and stuff. So, all right, we need to factor that in.
Or they were at the Mothman Festival and their battery died.
Or they were trapped in the car with Daniel circling a parking lot for 2 hours because he couldn't find a fucking parking spot. Even though there was 60 of them right there. I love it, Daniel.
Yeah, love you too, man. You're piss off.
And he'll be in an Uber next time.
Hey, but the last time he was here, he said, "No, it's all right. You drive." And I'm like, "Really?" Okay.
Hey, Rob. That was funny.
But for me, for anybody that's going to do this, or wants to, I am sure there is a more concise and just a better way to do this. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate each one of them, all of them, for volunteering to do it. Everybody did it. It was really good feedback with what we did. So I'm sure it could be better. Like, one of the things that I noticed when I started was I kind of wished I would have asked Kenny for maybe something that would fit in a mailbox.
I mean, I do have, I do have a large collection of items that people have claimed, and I do have stories for them. So I do have things that are that small. So, I mean, we can do this again, and I can certainly provide a different object that's smaller and easier to get back and forth. Hey, Daniel, on the air. All right, microphone right in front of you. We can hear everything you're doing.
Well, it was actually pertinent. I was getting ready to say something.
Yeah, so just for me, what ended up happening was I was excited to do this. I was pumped to do this. And after like going through the first one, boxing it up, I got note cards so I could put people's address on them and tape it over top so people could reuse the box and send it back. But after the second time I did that, I kind of felt, this is what they have to do, and the easier it is for somebody to get something, keep it for a month, notate it, and send it back, I think the better. And like, it wasn't a problem, but each item, and it was no problem for me. So, I in the instructions, I absolutely said, if you need reimbursed for any mailing items or whatever, I will absolutely do that. But the problem is you will need to be reimbursed, which means that you have to have money up front. And I don't know what everybody has or doesn't have. So it kind of made me think maybe something smaller that you could just kind of, again, you would probably still have to box it up and send it, but just something smaller.
The box that it came in had your return address and my to address. I just took the box right back to UPS and said, send it to this guy from this guy. And then slapped the label on it and off it went.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a problem.
Yeah. And I don't think sometimes I think probably Daniel and I, and maybe you guys, but sometimes, how far away you are from the post office, what your work schedule is. Do you have to take your lunch to get to a post office? Do you have to get off early or leave? You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess it's probably for 98% of the people, it isn't a problem, but it my type of job is if there's nothing going on in my office, we can leave my office. Like, I can go do and take care of stuff. I can't just leave and not come back to work. But if I have a little errand, it's fine. It's not a problem. So in the middle of the day, I would have all these boxes in my office and I would just take them to the local, and it just kind of made me think, maybe not everybody else has it. So maybe it's nothing. Maybe I'm just kind of throwing it out there and it's not that big of an impact for everybody. But if somebody's thinking ahead of time and they want to factor that in, it was just something that stuck out to me.
I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. I mean, I know there's a difference. I mean, I've been both of your areas and like we've talked about like the distance difference between things. Like, I have a post office that's, if I jump in my car, I'm there within like 3 minutes. It's right there. And I'm sure you guys have a much longer drive. So it might be like that. So it's, if we can make it easier for people, then by all means, let's make it as easy as possible. But with that said, understand that this is a low budget experiment.
It was very low
Okay?
budget.
It's a low budget experiment. So when we ask for cooperation, we need you to cooperate. You know, there's going to be some commitment there.
That's true too. That's true
where-
too. And I
Well,
think
and
buying,
and
I
you
think
were
buying
upfront.
into it is important as well.
You were upfront with everything, so it wasn't
was.
like it was hidden.
Mhm.
It was just upfront. Like this is what needs to be done. So if you want to
And-
volunteer, cool.
And I don't remember, and of course it wouldn't have made any difference to me one way or the other. Because I was all in. But like you said, depending upon what resources people have, maybe that's something. If other people want to do this, have something that's in the information that, but when you sign up to do it, say, understand that this will require you to, be able to have access to a post office or a means to mail a package this big or whatever, so that they know that.
Right.
You know what? And of course, this is me, and this is, me with my writing and how verbose I am. The little tiny spiral notebooks, I found those problematic yeah. So
Yeah.
I ended up with these, which I have a bunch of these lying about, but this is something that I really like too. So something that's more of a field notebook. So that's I like the writing part. I like to get up, and because I journal every day anyway. And so I'd get up and I would just make that part of my process. I'd get up and I'd just look over at the haunted item, and I would do that, and I'd put that down, then I'd get my journal and I would write. So yes, Kitty, I see you. What are you thinking, Sarah?
What's in your journal?
Everything. I can go back. I can tell you. I could go back and look through my journals and tell you the first time I was on your show. I could tell you the first time that I was at CFI. I can tell you the first time I spoke with Ben Radford, and the first time I got it.
Nobody cares about that.
Well, still, those are things, I can tell you, my one cousin got a speeding ticket on October 13th of some year. So I can go through and tell you all those things. So, and the weather, because I put the weather down too.
You did. I can tell you that. Yep.
Yep. And
Yeah.
that's good. That's. I mean, all those details are good, because it gives us an idea, an overall picture. Because if a weird experience does happen, the more details we have, the more it helps us speculate better and narrow down the window of speculation, the beam of speculation, so that we can figure out, all right, maybe it was due to the weather or something like that. So interesting. Good.
And I totally agree. I like the idea of sending some notes without having any expectations, because I think what Dr. Jim had said, his response to seeing that second notebook is a variable, not an independent. It's one of those
Mediating variables, that you can't control.
Well, it's a variable that happened.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So
I thought,
without
"Holy
even
cow,
thinking
I'm
about
not doing this right."
yeah. And that was really good feedback, because I didn't think about that. Like, I could see somebody that had there's several things, like they're thinking I'm not notating right because this came back with 4 pages left, Daniel. And then or they could also think, like I was saying earlier, like, obviously I didn't have the haunted object, so whoever had this is the haunted object, because they wrote so much.
Right.
So without thinking about it, you can, on a less than conscious level or a conscious level, implant that this is the haunted object because there's so many pages taken out. So
See,
I think all that was good.
I thought that every time we get a new notebook I didn't know you were going to take the pages out. You see,
Wow.
I thought that every time that we would get a new little flippy notebook, and then I'm like, Okay, I'll be use this notebook instead.
Yeah. So the notebook was an issue. When we got it, I got like 4 like really nice journal looking notebooks, and they wouldn't fit in the boxes that I bought. So what I had to do was like on my way to the post office, I stopped at like Dollar General and I went in, and the only things that they would fit in these boxes were like the little tiny. So I grabbed 4 of them and went back and put them in, and then taped it up there and sent them away. So good feedback. Like, who knew like the notebooks would be a thing? But I think that's good, because I certainly wouldn't have thought of it. Obviously I didn't, but it turns out it could be. So these types, I think this is a good example of this type of discussion.
Nice.
All right.
Cool.
Well, we're at the end of the hour, so I guess we can look at locking it up. But if you guys, I'll start with Dr. Jim. Like, if you want to give some final thoughts, or like if you enjoyed it, you thought it was good, or if, just your overall thoughts of going through with it, and I do appreciate you for doing that. Feel free.
I thought it was an interesting process. I was kind of anxious because there are people that won't go investigating with me because they consider me a paranormal black hole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you are.
Well, and whether it's because I'm cynical and those other side people know that, I don't know. But I honestly didn't expect anything to happen, which probably affected, despite my open-mindedness, which I think is what shows up on that RPBS thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was more open-minded than belief. But right this second, I don't even remember doing it. So I'm anxious to see the results.
Okay.
And for a first shot, for something we've not done before, I think we did pretty well.
Yeah.
And learned a lot about the process as much as we did about those 4 objects.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Again, and I like this. I like keeping it out. So I would hope if anybody's watching this, if they want to reach out and like get the idea more detailed of what we did and want to replicate it, I hope if they do replicate it, that they would come back on the show and like be a guest on our show and talk about their processes and their experiences with it as well.
Yeah, that would be good.
I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Daniel?
I enjoyed it. I always look forward. It was like Christmas, and then I always felt like when I was wrapping it up, I was saying goodbye, old friend. Because I put it back, and I honestly, because it was part of my process of a morning, I missed it. Like when I wasn't doing it in between the period between the one that I had sent, I'd gotten, and the new one that was coming, and that I'd sent away, and there was the new one, and there was maybe a couple weeks or something that I didn't have one. I would miss it. I'd say to Ann, "Hey, did you see anything weird happen today? Did anything odd happen that I didn't notice?" Or, "No, dear, no, nothing happened." But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's interesting. I think the results are interesting, that the things that Taryn was talking about. So it's good stuff. I hope that other people do it, or that we do it again. I mean, like
both.
And so I would love to do it again. I won't write as much the next time.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, we have something else coming down. We do. We have something else coming, and for Daniel, you have something coming. Where we're testing something, which I think that's going to be fun too. So we're open.
Write a lot?
The what?
Do I get to write about it? Do I get to keep notes and
Actually, you're going to video it.
Ooh, it's even better.
Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna for Christmas this year, I'm gonna just send Daniel like a stack of notebooks, like brand new car smell notebooks, and he's just gonna unwrap it and be like, ah.
Hey, when we go to Walmart, my wife, every time we walk by the office supply section, I have to go down and look at the stuff.
Oh my goodness. we have a flea market, and one of the vendors constantly puts out like stationery, and I'm always over there like, oh nope. And my wife's like, what do you need them for? Because they're blank. I need to fill them up. I need to fill them. I feel your pain. I relate, Daniel.
All right, I got a question from Rob. Hold on. Is this a regular thing? This live stream, like what we're doing in this live stream, or is our live stream pretty regular? So our live stream is once a month. It's the first Wednesday of the month. And what we're doing is pretty typical. We talk trash and we try to figure stuff out. We think about ways to test paranormal claims. And if we can think of a way, we try to put our money where our mouth is and actually test them. And then we put our findings, just like today, we bring it on and we welcome critical feedback. I don't think I think we really need critical feedback on this. And I think modeling that to other people, that it's okay to get critical feedback about what you did or didn't do, what could have been better. I think modeling that is just as important as doing the experiment and just, braving it and going out on your own. So what I did, I think like somebody that has a very good grasp on how to do experimental controls and has an actual history and a profession in it could probably look at me and go, there's a lot we could have done with that. And I would have expect that. But this is a toss up. This is, we sent haunted objects out, or one alleged, and we just saw if we could get the same type of experiences that the haunted object was forfeited because they were experiencing.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, and we love it. Like if you're on here, like if you want to be part of the next one, jump on. Like we'll include you. We'll send something. Now you got to do a good waiver.
Well, we should stress that as long as they're in the U.S.
Oh, that's true.
Some people are, we're getting outside the U.S. now, and that's going to be expensive. So, and like I said, we're a low budget experiment. we don't have the budget for that, but
we are low budget.
But we just to add to it, if you go back and look at the channel, you'll see we've done shows. We used to do it every week, and then it just got way too much for us. The three of us. That you see on top. The three of us are the ones that do this show all the time. And it got really tough doing it. So we went to a monthly basis. But if you look back, like we take turns. We each take a turn and then we pick a topic. And then all three of us research it. And we bring three different perspectives to the show. And we talk about it. And in cases like this, we've done shows where, we did a show on weeping statues. And somebody in the audience challenged us, like to do it. And that was a show because we actually went and did it. And that was fun, a lot of fun. And we've even had the one where we had a gentleman on because of an article that I wrote with Ben Radford, and somebody challenged our claims, and they came on the show and we had a discussion. And that's the kind of stuff we do too. So check back once a month and come hang out with us. Yeah,
we did the haunted object challenge at
White Hill Mansion. Yeah,
White Hill Mansion. Now we've done this. We've got another one in the works that I think is kind of fun. And when we get that wrapped up, whenever that might be, I'm definitely looking forward to inviting that person on the show. But I don't think that they'll accept. But we should, by courtesy and I think professionalism, like we should invite them so that they can be part of it.
Yeah.
But who the hell knows? To be fair, maybe that piece of equipment's going to rack it up and be 100% accurate, and we'll have to eat crow.
Doubt it.
But my prediction would be no.
We've done that too, where we had the that gentleman that came on because he builds equipment for a semi-famous ghost hunter. He came on, and we gave him a chance to state his case, even though he didn't read the report he told us to report or read. Just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Piss me off. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff we like doing. So, you know,
I still liked him. Like they
Yeah.
were completely different. And you're right. He was like, hey, you know, before you understand my technology, read this report. And we read the report. And turns out he didn't. Which was
Which
like, wow.
really pissed me off.
I was like, why would you send us a
night before?
Which
Yeah.
I was sitting here watching Kenny's face. I was watching, and then he just got this look, and he was like, "Did you even read the report that you sent?"
I was so mad. It wasn't like 6 or 7 pages.
That is a long ass report.
30
It was a
page
long
report.
ass stupid report.
Technical shit too. Like, and I stayed up and read that whole fucking thing, and then like 10 minutes into the show, the red flags are going up everywhere. Like, you didn't even read that paper, did you? No. Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah. But again, even through that, like I think we all walked away with like a rather, aside from that, a good degree of respect for him. He certainly, what he did, I think he certainly had the knowledge for. I think he was upfront about what he did, knowing what he's doing, and it was part of the job.
Right.
And what they did with what he builds is just his living, and I kind of appreciated that too.
Right.
And
we did.
The person that used that piece of equipment to make ridiculous claims wouldn't come on, but he did.
Yep.
And regardless of how it went, I still give mad respect for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because originally, there was a gentleman that put some marketing advertisements out, making some very bold and kind of nonsensical claims, and we offered to have him come on and explain his position, and he just ignored us. He refused us. He blocked me. And every time I messaged, and I wasn't even a dick to him. I was trying to get him to come on the show and just say, like, come on, explain yourself. That's what we want to know. Why are you saying these things? And nope, nothing. So, but you're right, Tim. Like that guy, the guy that did come on, he was willing to, and I give him props for putting up with us.
Yeah.
But I met him. I met him a couple weeks later.
Yes.
At an event here, and we talked. He was really nice. I mean, we still disagreed on a lot of things, but
that's fine.
It was civil. We still had a conversation and hung out. So all good. All good. All right.
Well, I hope who's up next month? I hope it's not me, because that means I would have done 3 in a row because I'm stupid.
I think it's Dave.
No,
this was Dave's.
This was mine. I gave it to Tim.
I took it over. That means it's
Wait,
yours.
he's getting to be skipped.
He voted. He was like, it's the way it is.
I gave Tim the option. He took it.
So it's my turn then? All right.
It's your turn.
All right. It's my turn. All right. I'll come up with something. I'll see. I'm going to try and set a record and try and come up with a topic before I leave here tonight. I know, Dr.
You
Jim,
might.
like that's probably not going to happen. But
even if it did, you would be like, "Hey guys, remember last month? What was that topic I said I was going to do?"
Well, 2 days before. What are we doing?
I've done that so many times. Have we done the Ouija board?
What's that?
Have we done the Ouija board?
No, Ouija board's always fun to do. I'm sure that we have,
but I don't know if we have done it or not. Like gotten into the
I don't know
history
how
of it.
that would have skipped by, but I can't be sure.
I don't think we have. I don't remember ever doing that.
That'd be a good one.
So that's my pick right now. I'm gonna go through the shows and make sure that have you got any topics planned for the Ouija boards?
Like it might be Ouija boards, but it could be anything by next month.
We'll see.
We're very relaxed. Like we like having fun and enjoying conversation, and our 3 different viewpoints. Sometimes we get to banter back and forth. So are we the tightest? Probably not. you get to hear some of the background. Like, it's not uncommon that all of us at some point have the day before the show, like, message and say, "Hey, who's up?" And the other two go, "You asshole. We've been waiting for what you." I'm like, "Me?
We've been waiting for a topic for 100 days.
For 29 days." Yeah.
Just
And you're like,
imagine
"Oh, shit."
too that we used to do this weekly.
Oh,
And it was like 2 days before, all right, we're going to
God.
do this topic. And that was it. For like 2 days, we'd be deep in research, figuring out. And now it's like we have a month and it's still.
and we
2 days
still
in a
don't do
row.
it.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So I'm good. I'm good. Ouija boards is the next topic. That's what I'm going with. Look at that. The show's not even over. Pick the topic. Beat that record.
Oh, Dave,
Which is,
you have a live request.
yeah, that's right.
Beat
don't
the,
care.
beat the
Maybe
record?
maybe next time, because nothing's plugged in. I'd have to go through, plug it all in, fire it up. So maybe next time.
Kenny, am writing down my idea for the next show. So if I'm 3 months out, I just toasted you. Unless you think of your second topic, which would put me 5 months behind. Unless I thought of my second one.
All right. So there you go.
I
There's
feel
my
fractal things
next
going on.
my next topic is going to be protection devices.
That's going to be mine because it'll be my turn. Thanks for that.
Wait a minute. Yeah, like condoms, IUDs, whatever.
Jeez.
Oh my God. I love you guys so much.
I hate you.
I know. I was like, what am I going to do next? I know. No, I do. I have it. It wasn't it. It wasn't it.
Yeah.
All right. So
All right,
I
cool.
thank everybody for watching. Again, just a shout out, like if somebody wants to do this and have an idea, and if you want to reach out to any of us on our Facebook messages, I think our emails on our webpage, just to get ideas of what we did. That's great. Please do it. Please replicate it, change it, figure out what you would like about it. And then when you're done, just give us please come back and talk about it. We'd love to hear it.
Mhm.
All right. Dr. Dave, Daniel, hold on. Don't jump off. And let me see if I can find the actual closing and not mess this up. All right.
Screwing
All
it
right.
up.
I'm
Here we
going to
go.
screw it up. I am. But since I've done it twice in a
Be
row.
ready to come back on live.
No, don't. Here we go. It's going to be early. Okay.
So Rob's not going to get it live, but this is usually our theme songs I usually do. So you'll hear part of the playing, just not live.
Just not live. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. See you next month. Thanks for everybody for listening.
And what you say, oh, you'll get to better.